Hello, my name is Katrine Haley-Derry, or Katie for short, and I graduated from the University of Toronto with a master's degree in environmental sciences, following an undergraduate degree in ecology and evolution biology, as well as film. Now I'm the marketing manager for Halton Environmental Network, or HEN, and the program coordinator for Generation Green, a program designed by youth for youth with the goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions in the Halton community. I've always been interested in how we can talk and communicate about climate change. And like you, I've wondered if there is more I can do to take action. My journey started in university and led me to HEN.
I've worked at HEN for 4 years now, since the summer of 2018. Before joining HEN, I've worked with the community in a number of different ways, from events to social media management to website development, you name it. I say HEN, and you might wonder what that means. Well, HEN stands for the Halton Environmental Network, which is an environmental nonprofit operating out of the Halton region. HEN strives to make the community of Halton a region with educated citizens, engaged stakeholders, and best practice policy for climate change mitigation and adaptation, as well as building a community that is environmentally sustainable. We work in partnership with lots of different organizations through our many programs, from working with faith groups through Green Sacred Spaces, building resilience through the Oakville Ready program, working with gardens and building sustainable food sources through Halton Food, to focusing on climate action as part of the Halton Climate Collective, which includes Generation Green, the Youth for Youth program building the community of climate leaders. Here at HEN, we work to educate our community and bring awareness about the importance of caring for our environment and taking action to fight climate change. We run activities such as community gardens, pop-up cleanups to clean up litter, and programs to educate people in our community. We have multiple different programs that I mentioned before. As one that I didn't mention was the Halton Green Screens, which host environmental film screenings. If you're interested in that, you should check out our Earth Day screening with AFA.
Earth Day, or Earth Week, is a good way to bring attention to ways to protect our planet and take care of the environment. Climate change is a big environmental problem we're now facing.
Climate change is mainly caused by excess greenhouse gas emissions, which are responsible for trapping heat in our atmosphere. Greenhouse gases are needed to keep the Earth warm, but scientists believe human activities such as burning fossil fuels, coals, and oil are causing an excess amount of greenhouse gases in our environment, leading to drastic changes in our climate. In Halton, the evidence has only begun to really show itself more recently, and the evidence is clear as this map indicates. Climate change impacts are being felt here, and we have multiple examples in our Halton community. We know it's getting warmer, wetter, wilder. We have seen flooding on the lakefront of Oakville costing our community millions of dollars. In Burlington, one rain effect impacted hundreds of residents with flooded basements and roads. Ice storms and wind events impact large trees and power lines, sometimes resulting in power outages.
These power outages impact the most vulnerable people in our community, causing challenges in their day-to-day lives. Extreme heat events have been on the increase. We've heard from the agricultural communities about drought, dry spells, and then flooding in their fields.
We have also seen the migration of vector-borne diseases like West Nile or Lyme disease, that are encroaching on our land due to warmer and wetter climate.
The impacts of climate are being felt here in our Halton community.
And all over the world, including the fires you might have heard in Australia and flooding in other parts of the world. Climate change is not an isolated issue to Canada or to Halton. It's an issue that affects everyone, everywhere. These projections on how much warmer, wetter, and wilder things are becoming are provided by the Ontario Climate Consortium. The potential impacts of climate will be felt across our community and across Canada. This infographic from the York region gives a quick summary of how it might be impacted in both the short and long term. If you'll notice, health impacts include the effects of extreme heat and cold exposure, as well as increased risk of disease carried by insects, like that West Nile or Lyme disease that I mentioned before. They had never been this far north, and yet now they are. Our green spaces and farms are at risk in relation to disease, insect damage, and drought.
Lastly, our economy will be impacted by increasing energy uses to deal with extreme temperatures. Think about turning your thermostat down when it's hotter, even hotter than it is during our summers, and turning it up when it's even colder. And these energy changes will have big impacts. as well changes to our food systems and risks to our infrastructure.
There is good news, though. We are taking climate change seriously at many levels in Halton. We have 7 climate emergency declarations that were made in the past years, 4 at the municipal level, 1 at the regional level, and we have 2 student-led climate emergency declarations in Canada, the first being approved by the Halton District School Board and the latest by the Halton Catholic District School Board just this year. We are a region that are showing that we're ready to take climate action, and we're quickly becoming climate leaders. Different Halton communities are taking steps towards actions for mitigation and adaptation. Some of these steps include the development or establishment of climate action plans, community energy plans, low carbon transition teams, and strategic plans that have incorporated climate into every lens of work. Since 2019, every municipality and the region of Halton has made great strides for climate action. I've listed a bunch of these things here, which, might be hard for you to read right now. Things I can highlight is the Climate Action Plan in Burlington and Oakville as well. The Community Energy Task Force and the municipalities are really focused on looking at our future. And of course, each municipality and the region declaring a climate emergency. If you want more information about all the things that I listed here, this can give you a really good sense of where each municipality is in their climate action planning, including the region, and how you can contribute with your actions. You can see what's being planned, and you can really put your input into things during some public forums as well. You can check out a lot of these actions up on our website. I really encourage you to use your voice and really pay attention to what's going on locally in your own municipality. At the same time, in 2019, the HCC also completed a survey of over 2,400 residents in Halton to learn more about what actions they were taking at the time to reduce their climate impact. You spoke and we listened. You can see that people were already making a difference by increasing their use of active or public transportation, reducing consumption, helping to conserve green spaces, reducing food waste, talking more about climate change in general. We can build on these efforts as a community and amplify our impact together. Every action counts to support the transformative change that we need, and together we can achieve.
So whether you're inspired to act to benefit our local community or those in another place, we're all interconnected, and every action we take here will make a difference everywhere. From our daily work at HEN, we see so many examples of organizations and individuals taking climate action seriously and tackling projects to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions, or GHG emissions. That includes the youth who participated in Generation Green.
Students who participated in Generation Green last year reduced their greenhouse gas emissions by 23.9 tons in just a few months, and the year before that, it was 20.3. This year, we're going to make just as big an impact. These projects focus primarily on driving less, planting more trees, eating less meat, using less energy, sending less waste to the landfill, you name it. The young people that are involved in Generation Green are an inspiration to me and to many of you as well. And it's important to take meaningful action to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions.
Don't get me wrong, climate change is a complex problem, and oftentimes it may seem overwhelming to you, to your family, friends, school, or community to tackle.
But just because it's hard to tackle doesn't mean that it's something that we should just ignore.
Both people and natural factors contribute to climate change. That is a fact. People cause climate change through burning fossil fuels to heat our buildings and transport ourselves and the goods that we use. Greenhouse gas emissions are also released through garbage decomposing in landfills, refrigerant gases leaking from old appliances, large-scale agricultural system, and many chemical processes that are part of our everyday lives. There are many ways you can decrease your GHG emissions, and the good news is that some of the most effective climate solutions are also good for our health, economy, and our well-being.
There are many ways you can decrease your GHG emissions. And the good news is that some of the most effective climate solutions are also good for our health, our economy, and our well-being. Change can be easy and inexpensive. When you take action, you're ensuring that our futures are more safe and secure.
Many places, including Halton, are shifting to greener forms of transportation and power. And there are our own community members. Many are speaking up and advocating for climate action, convening groups, writing letters, signing petitions. Some homeowners are building passive homes or retrofitting their properties, installing solar panels, all these great stuff to change their initial buildings. Installations of permeable driveways and planting native gardens and species that sequester carbon or support local life and biodiversity will also address flooding risks and make a huge impact on our natural environment.
There are many ways that you can take climate action and work toward building a better future. And make every action count. As young people, we have a deeper understanding that our world is changing. But I know from working with Halton Youth that we are capable of making great changes. We are part of a global movement, and we work together with all people to take climate action by following Goal 13. Lots of these goals apply to many of the things that we do, but I'm just going to highlight this one in particular. The UN Sustainability Goals remind us that combating climate change's impact is not a task for an individual alone, but a group working together for a common goal. We are all part of the solution. What actions can you take? Well, you can try doing a meatless Monday. There are a lot of great recipes and challenges your family can have so you can have fun while you're making your meals.
It can be as simple as unplugging your electronics at home. When you're at home, be conscious of the electronics in your house that are not being used, like microwave or a kettle, and turning off lights when you're not in a room. This is a super great way to save energy. It'll save you money and it'll also save the environment. Active transportation is also a great way to reduce your carbon footprint, as well as just to stay active generally. Try heading to the grocery store, your local coffee shop, just once, maybe twice. Measure the amount of times it takes you, how that feel, and start committing to do it maybe a little bit more often until walking is your first choice.
Already many places, including Halton, are shifting to greener forms of transportation and power. And there are our own community members, some of whom may be doing Generation Green this year, who are speaking up and advocating for climate action, convening groups, writing letters, and signing petitions. Some homeowners are even building passive homes or retrofitting their properties and installing solar panels to significantly reduce their GHG emissions and energy consumption.
Installations of permeable driveways and planting native gardens and species that sequester carbon or support local life and biodiversity will also address flooding risks and make a huge impact on our natural environment.
Climate change has increased levels of uncertainty about our future, and its impacts intensify over time. One thing has become certain: we will leave the earth to today's children and young people, and to the future generations after. We all have a role and responsibility to the earth to do what we can to ensure its healthy future, as best we can. Do you love walking and want to encourage others to do the same? Do you like shopping? Make thrifting your focus. Do you love trying new things? Try a meatless Monday recipes, or build a garden, or talk about your actions with others. Trust me, your passion will inspire others to act too. Generation Green is all about passion. It is a collective of youth building something for other youth as well, with the goal of engaging all of Halton students in climate action leadership and supporting their own commitments to greenhouse gas reductions in order to drive change and action. It's about your own journey. Wherever you start, wherever you're going, Generation Green lets you get there.
No matter how big or small, what's important is that you learned how your actions made a difference. And you can see those impacts through tangible numbers. We've heard from many of you that you were shocked to find out the amount of greenhouse gases you were emitting by just, the simple actions that you take, and how easy it was to reduce that amount, even in a short amount of time. At the end of the day, we hope that you'll be able to learn from the experience and apply it to your own lives. I'm also super inspired by local climate action. Us at HEN, we work directly with the community. We call it grassroots organization, We're doing a lot of different things with a lot of different people, and I'm constantly inspired by what people get to do and what they get up to just based on their own passion. Let's take a look at Generation Green. Generation Green is close to my heart because I've been working on it now for 3 years. It's a very fun program. It's all about youth taking action. So if you are somebody who's looking about maybe taking their first step into climate action, wondering what actions they can do that have the biggest impact, or just kind of curious about their own climate journey, then I encourage you to take a look at this year's projects by joining us on April 25th and or checking out last year's project on our website.
Join us for the WRAP event on April 25th to find out how you can take climate action. There'll be a keynote speaker by University of Toronto's new Living Lab all about transportation and creating sustainable futures, as well as many different workshops about how you can embrace active transportation. You'll also find out what our total impact was for this year. You can join by going to climatecollective.ca/generationgreen2022. Register soon, though, because we don't have many spaces left.
The climate crisis isn't going to be solved by a few people doing 1,000 perfect things, but by 1,000 people doing a few good things. So please, whatever you take away from this, don't stop doing good things. Don't stop being youth climate activists. Don't stop your actions. Don't stop being the community we need and know we can be. Don't stop being the generation that said enough is enough. And don't stop being the generation who didn't just call for action, but really made it happen. Don't stop being Generation Green.
Thank you for listening to me today. If you want to connect with HEN or the HCC again, I encourage you to check out our projects on our webpage and to follow us on Instagram at Halton Climate Collective or at our HEN Instagram at HEN Here. You can also follow us on Twitter too, at Halton Climate or at HEN Here too. You can visit our website at climatecollective.ca or haltonenvironment.ca and check out all the other resources and ways to become a climate leader in your own home, school, work, or community.
Thank you guys so much for having me here and speaking to you a little bit more about who I am, who HEN is, what's happening in Halton, and a little bit about how you can take climate action. It's been so inspiring to be working with many of you in many, many different ways, whether you're volunteering or you're taking part in Gen Green. I'm constantly inspired by what young people can do and what they stand up for when you're really passionate about something. And I hope this week, when you learn more about the environment, you take action, you get outside, you plant a tree, you do something good, that you think about that and you think about the power that you hold, because you really do hold a lot of power, much more than you might think. So again, thank you for having me here, and I wish you a very good Earth Week and Earth Day. Bye.